When a man's physically attracted to you, he doesn't always say it. He shows it. In his lingering eye contact, subtle touches, closeness, body orientation, and how he mirrors you. His actions speak louder than his words. Watch the signs, trust your intuition, and let connection reveal the truth. When a man is physically attracted to you, his eyes will often say what his mouth hasn't yet dared to. Eye contact is one of the most intimate and telling forms of body language, and when it lingers, when it holds just a little longer than expected, it becomes more than just a social gesture. It becomes a window into desire. Imagine you're mid-conversation, perhaps talking about something light-hearted or even mundane, and you catch him staring, not absent-mindedly, but with intent. His eyes are locked onto yours, focused, engaged, present. He's not looking through you, he's looking at you. And in that moment, there's a kind of tension in the air. It's not uncomfortable, but it makes your pulse rise just slightly. You notice it because it's not how everyone else looks at you. That extra second, that beat he takes before breaking the gaze, is where attraction lives. This kind of eye contact doesn't just happen, it's deliberate, even if he isn't consciously aware of it. When someone is attracted to you, they're drawn to observe, to study your expressions, to connect with your gaze as a way of feeling closer without physical contact. And when a man is physically attracted, that gaze becomes slightly more intense. There's focus, admiration, and often softness. He's not just seeing you, he's admiring something that pulls him in. Now, it's important to differentiate between polite eye contact and the kind that communicates desire. Polite eye contact checks in and out quickly. It's respectful, it's brief, and it exists to keep the conversation flowing. But eye contact driven by attraction lingers. It pauses. It says, I see you, and even more, I want to see you. You might find him looking into your eyes while you're speaking, then lingering for a moment, even after you've stopped. It's as if he's taking in more than just your words. It's not about curiosity, it's about chemistry. Sometimes there's a hint of nervousness that comes with it. A little smirk, a quick glance away, followed by a return to eye contact. That flicker of shyness is a tell. It's that classic moment when someone wants to look, knows they're being caught looking, and still can't help themselves. Because when a man is genuinely physically attracted to you, the desire to look at you often overrides self-consciousness. But here's the beautiful part. When this type of eye contact is mutual, it creates a silent dialogue. Words become unnecessary. The conversation shifts from spoken to felt. You both begin to understand something is happening beneath the surface. There's a current between you, like you're speaking in a language only the two of you understand. It's magnetic, and once it begins, it's hard to ignore. You might notice this in group settings too. While others are talking, laughing, or moving about, his eyes return to you, again and again. He's scanning the room but always seems to find his way back to your gaze. That's not coincidence. That's attraction trying not to look too eager, but failing. Even across a room, lingering eye contact can be electric. There's nothing more telling than catching someone staring from a distance, only for them to maintain that stare rather than looking away in embarrassment. That kind of confidence doesn't come from politeness, it comes from desire. And that sustained gaze across a room can speak louder than any flirtatious comment ever could. You'll also feel it when you laugh or smile. If he holds your gaze in those moments, watching your reaction, he's not just enjoying the moment, he's captivated by it. He's drawn in by the way your face changes, the way your eyes light up. That lingering gaze says, I like what I see. And that's when you know, this isn't about friendship or kindness or casual interest. This is physical attraction making itself known without a single word being spoken. Eye contact is ancient. It predates language, and in matters of attraction, it remains one of the most powerful ways we communicate interest, admiration, and desire. So the next time you catch him looking, really looking, don't brush it off. Pay attention to the way he holds that moment. It might just be the first honest confession of how he feels. When a man is physically attracted to you, one of the most subtle yet consistent behaviors you'll notice is how often he finds reasons to be close. Not in an obvious over-the-top way, but in small, intentional moves that bring him into your physical space. It's almost as if his body is drawn to yours without needing permission from his mind. He leans in when he talks to you. He stands a little closer than necessary. He chooses the seat beside you rather than one across the room. These aren't random choices. They're instinctual. Attraction has a gravitational pull, and closeness becomes the quiet evidence of that pull. It often starts innocently. You're in a group setting, maybe sitting at a table, and when he arrives, there are several open seats, but he takes the one next to you. Or maybe you're both at a social event, chatting with others, but somehow he keeps gravitating back toward your side. He'll hover nearby, maybe not even saying much, but he's present. He's positioned himself close enough to share space, to make his presence felt. That's not coincidence. That's intent disguised as convenience. You might notice how he closes the physical gap during conversation. Most people maintain a polite, socially acceptable distance, but if he's drawn to you physically, he'll break that invisible barrier. He might step into your personal space just a little when he talks. If you're sitting beside him, he might angle his body toward you, his knees pointing your way, his shoulder just brushing yours. If you're standing, he might lean in when he speaks, not because it's loud, but because he wants to shorten the space between you. This desire to be close often comes out in shared moments. Let's say you're looking at something on your phone. He leans in to see too, his arm gently touching yours. Or you're reading a menu together at a cafe. He leans across your shoulder to point something out. Again, these aren't bold moves, they're subtle invitations. His physical proximity becomes a quiet signal that says, I like being near you, I want to be part of your space. Sometimes, this shows up in how he navigates his surroundings. If you're walking together, he'll naturally slow his pace to match yours, walking close enough that your hands almost brush. If you're at a party and you move to a different spot, he'll drift in the same direction. If you get up to get a drink, suddenly he's at the drink table too. These behaviors aren't planned or calculated. They're simply the result of him wanting to share the same physical world you're in. Even in casual settings, like sitting on a couch, the distance he keeps is a clue. Someone who's neutral about you might sit on the opposite end, legs crossed away. But someone who's physically attracted to you will sit closer, maybe not touching, but within reach. You'll feel the warmth of his presence, the nearness of his body. You'll notice the way he subtly adjusts himself to close the gap, even if there's plenty of room elsewhere. Another clue? He often finds excuses to break that closeness only to return to it. For example, he gets up to grab something, and when he comes back, he settles back into that same spot next to you. It becomes his place. And once someone starts establishing their place near you, that's physical attraction revealing itself. He's claiming space, not in a dominant or controlling way, but in a way that says, this feels right. This is where I want to be. Physical closeness can also manifest during moments of shared attention. You're both looking at a screen or watching something happening nearby, and instead of standing beside someone else, he chooses to stand next to you. That decision, made again and again, shows where his comfort and his desire naturally lands. Even when there's no need to be close, he invents reasons. He might ask for your help with something simple, like fixing a collar or showing him something on your phone. These small asks create opportunities for proximity, and in those moments, there's usually an unspoken electricity in the air, a heightened awareness of how near you are. If you notice that he seems more alive, more tuned in when he's physically near you, that's not your imagination. It's attraction finding its most natural expression. These behaviors may not always come with words. He may not openly say, I want to be close to you, but he doesn't have to. His actions say it for him. He shows up, stays nearby, and finds ways, subtle, respectful, but undeniably deliberate, to share your physical space. In doing so, he communicates a powerful truth. When a man is physically attracted to you, closeness isn't just something he enjoys, it's something he actively seeks. When a man is physically attracted to you, his need for connection often shows itself through the lightest, most fleeting gestures, subtle touches, and those so-called accidental contacts. These moments may seem harmless or coincidental at first, but if you pay attention, you'll begin to notice a pattern. These touches are not truly accidental, they are soft signals of attraction, of curiosity, of desire restrained by hesitation. It could start with a casual brush of the hand. You're both reaching for something, and his fingers linger just a moment too long. Maybe you're walking side by side and your arms bump, but instead of pulling away immediately, he lets the contact settle for a heartbeat before adjusting. These aren't grand or overt moves. They're small, they're respectful, but they're telling. What makes these moments significant is how often they repeat. One touch might be nothing. 2 or 3, you might still wonder. But when he finds consistent, subtle ways to bridge the physical gap between you, what he's really doing is testing the waters, checking to see if that connection is welcome, if that spark he feels is shared. You might notice this during conversations. Maybe he places a hand on your shoulder as he laughs at something you said. Maybe he lightly touches your arm to emphasize a point. Perhaps he gently guides you through a doorway with a hand on your back. None of these touches are inappropriate or aggressive. They're small, intentional, and they carry a message. I like being near you. I want to connect. Physical touch is one of the most primal languages of attraction. It's instinctive. When we're drawn to someone, our bodies naturally seek theirs. And men, especially those who are more reserved with their words, often express their interest through action, especially in the form of touch. But because society teaches caution and respect around physical interaction, many of these touches get masked as casual or accidental. They're not. They're calculated in their spontaneity. You'll also see it in the way he reacts to shared contact. If your knees touch under the table and neither of you moves away, that's a moment. If you hand him something and his fingers linger on yours for just an extra second, that's a moment. If he brushes lint off your jacket, adjusts your bracelet, or tucks a stray hair behind your ear, those are all invitations. He's saying, I see you, I notice the little things, and I want to be close. Sometimes these touches are even disguised in playfulness. He might gently nudge you when teasing you, tap your arm when making a joke, or initiate a high five that turns into a lingering moment. These aren't random. They're crafted to feel light and casual, but come from a deeper place. He's creating a reason to touch you in a way that feels safe for him and for you. The most telling thing about these moments is how they make you feel. Because when someone you're attracted to touches you, even subtly, it creates a ripple, a little spike of awareness, a flash of energy between you. And the question you should always ask yourself is, does he seem aware of the moment too? If he's physically attracted to you, chances are he is. You'll see it in the way he smiles afterward, in the way he glances at you after the touch, in the small silence that sometimes follows. You'll also notice how these moments evolve over time. What starts as casual becomes slightly more intentional. The light touches become more confident. The frequency increases. He might initiate a warm, full-bodied hug instead of a side one. He might brush your hand when passing something to you, even when it wasn't necessary. And if he senses you're comfortable, he might hold that touch a little longer each time. All of this creates a slow, natural progression of closeness. What's important to realize is that these touches, though small, are incredibly revealing. They show you not only that he's physically attracted, but that he's attuned to your response, that he's testing boundaries gently, respectfully. He wants to be closer, but only if you're on the same page. That's the beauty of subtle contact. It's less about claiming space and more about creating it together. So when a man finds ways to brush against you, tap your arm, lean in with just enough closeness to make your skin tingle, he's not doing it by accident. He's telling you something he may not yet have the words for. His body is speaking, and if you listen closely, you'll hear the truth in every touch. When a man is physically attracted to you, he may not even realize the way his body begins to mirror yours. It's not something he's consciously trying to do. In fact, it often happens below the surface of awareness, but it's one of the strongest indicators of connection and physical attraction. The human brain is wired for mimicry, especially in moments of emotional or physical engagement. When we feel close to someone, we begin to subtly reflect their body language, gestures, and rhythm. It's as if our nervous systems are trying to match each other's frequency. And for a man who's drawn to you physically, this mirroring is a way of creating an unconscious intimacy. You might be sitting across from him, sipping your coffee, and a few seconds later, he picks up his drink and takes a sip. You cross your legs, and soon after, he adjusts his posture in a similar way. You lean forward in a conversation, and he does the same, closing the distance without even noticing he's doing it. These are small, seemingly meaningless actions on the surface, but when repeated over time, they begin to reveal something deeper. He's syncing with you. His body is in tune with yours. What makes this so powerful is how naturally it happens. It's not a tactic, it's not a technique, it's biology in motion. His mirroring behavior shows that he's paying close attention, not just to what you're saying, but to how you're saying it. He's absorbing your mood, your energy, your pace. It's a sign that he's fully present in the moment with you. And physical presence is one of the clearest indicators of desire. This kind of mirroring can extend beyond just posture. It can be seen in his expressions, his tone of voice, even the pace of his breathing. If you laugh, he smiles. If you soften your voice, his follows suit. If you tilt your head while listening, he might unconsciously do the same. It's his way of emotionally aligning with you. He's not just observing you, he's reflecting you back. And when someone reflects us, it creates a powerful sense of closeness. You might notice this more clearly in quieter moments. For instance, if you're walking together and you slow your pace, he slows his. If you pause and look around, he follows your gaze. It's as though he doesn't want to break the rhythm you've both fallen into. He feels more connected when your movements align, and so he naturally adjusts his body to match yours. That's not something you do for just anyone. That's something you do when you want to be in sync with someone, physically, mentally, emotionally. There's something deeply intimate about this mirroring, even if neither of you is pointing it out. It creates a subtle bond, a quiet echo that deepens your connection. And often, the more physically attracted he is to you, the stronger this instinct becomes. Because when we want someone, we want to feel close to them in every way possible. Mirroring helps bridge that gap. You'll often see this in how he responds to your emotional state. If you become animated, he becomes more expressive. If you relax, he softens. If you become serious, his tone shifts to match. Again, this is not performance. It's presence. It's his body saying, I'm here with you in this moment, matching your energy because I'm drawn to you. One of the most telling signs of mirroring is how he holds stillness when you do. If you pause in a conversation, thinking or reflecting, and he doesn't rush in to fill the silence, but stays with you in that stillness, matching your breath, waiting alongside you, that's a powerful sign. He's not trying to lead the interaction or control it. He's moving with you. That's physical attraction paired with emotional awareness. And if you ever want to test whether someone is mirroring you, try changing your position subtly. Cross your arms, shift in your seat, or take a deep breath, and watch if he follows suit within a few moments. You might be surprised at how naturally it happens when the connection is there. It's almost as if your bodies are dancing, without music or choreography, just instinct. Mirroring is a form of unconscious intimacy. It's not about copying, it's about aligning. When a man mirrors your movements, it shows that his attention is locked on you, not just on your words, but on your presence. It's his way of stepping into your world, of syncing his rhythm with yours. And when that happens, it's not just attraction, it's chemistry unfolding in real time. When a man is physically attracted to you, one of the most natural and unfiltered ways his body reveals it is through his orientation, how he positions himself in relation to you. His body, without needing permission or conscious direction, turns toward the person he's drawn to. It's almost primal. You'll notice that even in a room full of people, full of distractions, his chest, his feet, his hips, all point toward you. It's as if, no matter what's happening around him, you are his center of gravity. This behavior can be incredibly subtle. You're having a conversation with a group, but he shifts his body slightly so his torso faces you instead of someone else. You're sitting on a couch with others, and while everyone else is angled toward the TV or the speaker, his knees are angled toward you. These movements don't scream attraction, they whisper it, but those whispers are steady and they speak volumes. The direction someone faces reveals where their interest is. You can test this in any interaction. People naturally turn toward what they find compelling. When someone's attracted to you, even if they're not saying it directly, their body will angle itself toward you like a sunflower turning to the sun. It's instinctive, it's subconscious, it's desire making itself known through posture. You might also catch this when he's not even engaged in conversation with you. Maybe you're across the room talking to someone else. He's nearby, maybe in a different circle or doing something else, yet his body is slightly angled toward you. His feet point your way. His stance is open in your direction. He may not be looking at you in that moment, but his body betrays where his attention really is. That's not by chance. That's attraction quietly anchoring him in your orbit. There's also a certain openness in his posture when he's around you. His arms aren't crossed. His stance isn't closed off. His body seems relaxed, available, and receptive. This open posture is a silent way of inviting connection. It says, I'm here, I'm interested, and I'm not afraid to show it. And when combined with his body facing you, the message is even clearer. You're the focal point. Even when he's seated, his orientation speaks volumes. If he turns his chair slightly, leans in your direction, or angles his legs towards you rather than away, he's creating a physical line of connection. It may not even be something he's thinking about, but his body knows what it wants. We tend to turn toward what we want more of, toward what excites us, toward what we feel safe and curious about. That's not just behavior, it's biology. It becomes even more noticeable when someone else enters the scene. Imagine someone else joins your conversation. If he repositions himself to still face you, even while acknowledging the other person, he's revealing his preference without saying a word. He's physically invested in your presence, and he's making that known through action, not just attention. In romantic settings, this becomes even more powerful. When you're seated at a table together, does he angle his body toward you even if it's not the most comfortable position? Does he lean in during moments of quiet? Does he stay physically open, creating a sense of invitation rather than distance? All of these are subtle but strong signs of physical attraction. What's most telling is when he consistently maintains this body orientation throughout the interaction. One moment might be random, but if you see his body turning toward you repeatedly, especially in different settings and at different times, it's no longer a coincidence, it's a pattern, and patterns reveal truth. You might also notice how quickly he reorients himself toward you if he's interrupted. Say he turns to respond to someone else for a moment. Once that exchange ends, does he return to facing you almost immediately? That snapback movement is incredibly telling. It reveals where his attention wants to return to, where he feels pulled. That pull is physical attraction, plain and simple. The most fascinating thing about this body language is that it often happens before any words of interest are spoken, before compliments, before flirtation, before any verbal expression of desire. His body will already be showing signs of it. That's the beauty of nonverbal attraction. It doesn't need approval. It doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It simply reacts. So if you ever wonder whether a man is physically attracted to you, don't just listen to what he says. Look at how he positions himself. Notice where his body naturally turns. Because where the body points, the heart often follows. And more often than not, that orientation tells you everything you need to know. When a man is physically attracted to you, one of the most revealing ways it shows is in how he notices and comments on your appearance. These compliments aren't just about being polite or making conversation. They're reflections of what's capturing his attention. And more importantly, what he can't seem to ignore. There's a difference between someone saying you look nice out of habit and someone who notices the tiny specific things because they're truly drawn to you. You might be wearing something simple, maybe your hair is tied a little differently, or your lipstick is a bit bolder than usual, and he notices, not just in a casual passing way, but in a way that feels genuine. He pauses, he takes a second look, he smiles in response, and then he says something like, "That colour really suits you," or "I love the way you did your hair today." These aren't just generic throwaway lines. They're signs that he's paying attention and that he's appreciating what he sees on more than a surface level. Physical attraction makes people more observant. When a man is drawn to you, he begins to notice the details others miss. The curve of your smile, the way your earrings catch the light, the way your laugh lights up your entire face. And when he compliments you, he's not just acknowledging beauty, he's expressing admiration for the effect you have on him. Sometimes he'll even surprise you by pointing out things you didn't think were noticeable, like the scent you're wearing, the softness of your sweater, or the way your eyes look when you laugh. What makes these compliments different is the tone and delivery. They aren't forced, they don't feel rehearsed, they land with warmth, sometimes even a little hesitation, as if he's revealing something he's been thinking about but wasn't sure if he should say out loud. And in those moments, you feel the honesty behind the words. It's not about flattery, it's about appreciation. Genuine, spontaneous appreciation that comes from being drawn to someone. Sometimes he may not compliment you directly, but instead ask questions about your appearance. He might say, "Is that a new dress?" Or "Have you changed something about your hair?" This curiosity isn't random. It's attraction trying to express itself in a subtle, more cautious way. He notices the change because he pays attention, and he brings it up because he wants you to know he sees you. And if he compliments you when there's no need to, when you're not dressed up, not trying to impress, just being natural, that's one of the clearest signs of all. If he tells you you look beautiful when you're in a hoodie, with your hair up and no makeup on, he's not just being sweet. He's showing that his attraction to you goes deeper than a styled moment. He sees beauty in your natural state because physical attraction isn't always about glamour. It's about connection and magnetism. It's about how you affect him, regardless of what you're wearing. At times, these compliments might be delivered with a smile or playful energy. He might tease you gently, "You're dangerous in that outfit," or "You're making it hard to concentrate." These comments, though light-hearted, carry an undercurrent of attraction. He's using humour to express what he's feeling in a way that doesn't put too much pressure on you, but make no mistake, the message is clear. You might also notice how his compliments aren't limited to one area. He may admire your face, your outfit, your style, the way you walk, the way you carry yourself. And the more he's attracted to you, the more varied these observations become. It's as if his eyes are drawn to you over and over again, always finding something new to admire. That constant pull, expressed through thoughtful compliments, is one of the purest signs of physical interest. Another important aspect is repetition. If he consistently compliments you over time, not in a pushy or overwhelming way, but naturally, authentically, it's a sign he's still captivated. Physical attraction doesn't fade quickly when there's genuine chemistry. It stays alive through attention, presence, and expression. Compliments are simply the words that give shape to that attraction. So if you find him noticing the little things, commenting on the details, and offering compliments that feel real and unexpected, you can trust what he's feeling. He's not just looking, he's seeing. And when a man truly sees you, when his compliments go beyond surface-level praise and reflect real admiration, that's physical attraction revealing itself without disguise. When a man is physically attracted to you, one of the most subtle yet revealing changes happens in his voice. It may not be obvious at first. You might not even notice it until you really tune in, but something shifts in the tone, pitch, pace, or rhythm of how he speaks when he's around you. It's not something he's trying to do. It's something his body does automatically. Because physical attraction doesn't just affect how someone looks at you or stands near you. It shows up in how they communicate, how they express themselves, and yes, how their voice adapts to your presence. You might hear it in the way his tone softens. He could be someone who normally speaks with a certain edge or volume, but when he's talking to you, his voice becomes gentler, warmer. There's a calmness to it. It's slower, more deliberate. That's because attraction creates a heightened sense of awareness. He doesn't want to rush. He wants to stay in the moment. He wants you to feel the connection that's growing, and he's hoping you feel it too. Sometimes it's the opposite. He becomes more energetic, more animated, as if he's trying to entertain or impress you. His voice lifts with excitement, becomes more expressive, more alive. That kind of shift isn't about performance. It's about enthusiasm. When someone is drawn to you, their energy goes up. They want to show the best version of themselves. Their voice naturally rises to meet the emotional current they feel in your presence. You may also notice how he lowers his pitch around you. This is especially true in men, and there's actual science behind it. Studies have shown that men tend to speak in a slightly deeper voice when they're talking to someone they're physically attracted to. It's instinctive, linked to biology, to masculinity, to the subconscious desire to appear more attractive and grounded. That deeper voice signals confidence, focus, and subtle flirtation. He may not even know he's doing it, but you'll feel the difference when it happens. His pacing changes too. Around someone he's drawn to, he might slow down his speech, pause more often, and give you time to respond. It's as if he's trying to savor the moment. He doesn't want to rush the interaction. He wants to hear what you're saying, and he wants you to hear him fully. That kind of care in communication doesn't come from casual interest. It comes from deeper attraction. There's often more emotion in his voice too. You'll hear the sincerity when he compliments you, the enthusiasm when he's laughing with you, the attentiveness when he's asking you questions. His voice becomes less about delivering information and more about creating connection. You'll feel it in the softness, the hesitation before he says something vulnerable, the warmth that lingers when he says your name. It's also about how frequently his voice engages you. If you're in a group and he consistently responds to your comments, even when others are talking, that's a clue. If he directs questions at you, follows up on your thoughts, or uses your name in conversation more than necessary, his voice is gravitating toward you. He's making you the focal point, not just with eye contact or body language, but with vocal attention. In quieter moments, his voice might drop to a more intimate level. That doesn't mean whispering necessarily, it just means there's a closeness in his tone. It's the kind of voice people use when they want to share something personal, when they want to be heard by you specifically, not by everyone else. That softness, that intention is a mark of attraction. It creates emotional intimacy, even in casual conversations. You may also catch him trying to make you laugh. If a man is physically attracted to you, he often tries to engage you with humor, and not just any humor. Playful, personal, charming. His voice changes when he's joking with you. It becomes more expressive, more dynamic, and he watches your face for your reaction. That desire to create a shared moment, to win your smile, is a vocal dance that reveals his desire to connect. Even the silences between his words speak volumes. If he pauses before responding, as if carefully choosing what to say, if he lingers at the end of a sentence, hoping you'll respond, if he uses fewer words but fills each one with weight, that's attraction shaping his communication. He's not trying to fill the space with noise, he's trying to fill it with meaning. When someone's physically attracted to you, their voice becomes one of the most emotionally revealing instruments. It tells you how much they're feeling, how present they are, how much they care about the way their words land with you. So listen, not just to what he says, but how he says it. Because when a man is truly drawn to you, his voice carries the echo of everything he's too afraid, or too early, to admit. When a man is physically attracted to you, his behavior can swing in one of two completely different directions. He might suddenly seem nervously fidgety or unusually confident. And while these responses are opposites on the surface, they both stem from the same root, heightened awareness of your presence. Physical attraction stirs the nervous system. It interrupts the usual rhythm of behavior. It makes him more conscious of how he's coming across. more attuned to your responses, and more eager to make an impression, even if he's trying to play it cool. Let's talk about the first side, nervous energy. When a man feels a strong pull toward you, especially if he hasn't fully figured out where he stands with you, that attraction can trigger a surge of physical restlessness. His leg might bounce unconsciously under the table. He could start adjusting his clothes, fixing his collar, running a hand through his hair, fiddling with a bracelet or watch. He might pick up his drink and put it down again without taking a sip. All these little movements, seemingly random, are actually outlets for the adrenaline rush that attraction causes. It's his body trying to release nervous tension. You might also notice him overthinking his words. He may start a sentence and then correct himself midway. He might chuckle nervously after something he says, even when there's nothing particularly funny. He could lose his train of thought or stumble a bit in the conversation. Not because he doesn't know what to say, but because he cares so much about saying it right. His brain is juggling two things at once, staying present in the moment and internally wondering, am I making a good impression? That self-awareness can be charming, and it's often a giveaway that his attraction to you is strong enough to shake his usual cool. But attraction doesn't always make someone nervous. It can also bring out a more confident, energized version of him. On this side of the spectrum, you might notice that he suddenly becomes more animated, more playful, more assertive. His voice might carry more strength. His posture becomes upright and open. He may take up a little more space with his body. These shifts aren't necessarily intentional, they're primal. They're rooted in a deep desire to be noticed, to stand out, and to be seen as attractive in return. He might start cracking jokes, playfully teasing you, or sharing stories that show off his wit, intelligence, or achievements. This isn't arrogance, it's performance born out of attraction. He's trying to bring his best self to the surface, and often he'll do this while watching your reaction carefully. He's scanning for approval, for signs that you're engaged, impressed, or amused. Your smile becomes his reward, your laughter, his success. Every bit of confidence he projects is amplified by how you respond to him. Interestingly, sometimes both of these extremes exist within the same interaction. You'll see flashes of boldness followed by small moments of insecurity. He might walk up to you with total composure only to get tongue-tied once you lock eyes. Or he'll make a confident joke, then glance away quickly to hide a blush. This back and forth between nerves and boldness is one of the clearest indicators of physical attraction. It means he's caught between wanting to impress you and being a little overwhelmed by how much he wants it. The context also matters. If he's usually composed and relaxed around others but becomes a little more animated or awkward around you, that contrast is significant. That shift is a signal that you affect him in a way no one else in the room does. He may not even be aware of the change in himself, but you'll notice. Because attraction isn't just about how someone treats you, it's about how their entire demeanor shifts in your presence. Sometimes this nervousness or confidence will surface in how he handles physical proximity. If he's fidgety, he might seem unsure of where to place his hands, how close to stand, or when to make eye contact. If he's feeling bold, he might lean in slightly, maintain strong eye contact, and use his body language to create a sense of connection. Whether it shows up as charm or clumsiness, both are rooted in one truth: you make an impact. So whether his hands are twitching or his shoulders are squared, whether he's stumbling over words or putting on a smooth display of confidence, what you're witnessing is his attraction trying to find a path to expression. And in those moments, even without a single direct confession, he's telling you everything you need to know. When a man is physically attracted to you, one of the most telling signs is how often he initiates physical contact. Not in a way that's overbearing or inappropriate, but in small, repeated gestures that reveal his desire to feel close to you. These touches aren't random. They're intentional. Whether it's a light touch on your arm during a conversation, a hand on your lower back as you walk through a doorway, or a lingering hug goodbye, each moment of contact is a signal that he's drawn to you physically and emotionally. It often starts with the most casual gestures. You're laughing at a joke and he taps your arm. You're seated beside him and your knees brush, only he doesn't move away. Maybe you're walking side by side and he places his hand lightly on your shoulder or back to guide you. These are subtle touches that wouldn't seem out of place in a social context, but what sets them apart is how consistently they show up. They happen often, and they seem to come more naturally when he's around you than when he's with anyone else. The consistency is key. Attraction drives people to seek closeness, and physical contact becomes a way of staying connected without having to say too much. For a man who's physically attracted to you, these gestures are how he breaks the invisible wall between friendship and flirtation. They're his way of saying, I want to be near you. I want you to feel my presence. These touches serve as emotional checkpoints, building connection with each moment of brief contact. You'll also notice how he reacts to shared physical space. If you're sitting next to each other, does he sit just a little closer than necessary? Does he allow his leg or arm to rest against yours, not shifting away unless you do? That kind of closeness isn't accidental. It's a sign that he's comfortable being near you, and that he wants you to be comfortable with him being near. His body language speaks louder than any compliment could. Sometimes, this contact takes the form of helpful gestures. He might reach out to adjust something for you, a strand of hair out of your face, a tag on your shirt, a necklace clasp. These aren't essential actions. They're excuses to make a moment feel more personal, more intimate. When a man is physically attracted to you, he'll look for natural ways to cross that physical boundary in a way that feels safe, even nurturing. And it's not just about touch, it's about the quality of the touch. Is it warm? Is it thoughtful? Does it linger for just a second longer than expected? You'll feel when it's different. A friendly pat on the back feels different than a slow, deliberate hand resting on your shoulder. A quick handshake feels different from one that holds your hand a moment longer. When he's attracted to you, those touches will feel more intentional, more personal, more like moments meant just for the two of you. Sometimes he might even test the waters. He'll initiate touch to see how you respond. If you smile, if you don't pull away, if you mirror his gestures, that gives him the signal that his touch is welcome, and he'll likely find more reasons to keep doing it. That dance of touch and response becomes a language of its own. And often, the real conversation is happening through fingertips, glances, and proximity. You'll also feel it in the way he engages with you physically in social settings. If you're in a loud place, he might lean in close, letting his hand rest gently on your arm as he speaks into your ear. If you're crossing the street, he might place a hand on your lower back to guide you. In all these cases, the gesture might be small, but the intention behind it is big. It's about presence, connection, desire. He might also playfully tease you through physical touch, nudging you, giving you a gentle push on the arm during a joke, bumping shoulders with you as you walk. This kind of touch carries a lighter energy, but it's still rooted in attraction. It's his way of keeping things fun, creating little sparks of tension that bring your attention back to him. When a man initiates physical contact often and in meaningful, consistent ways, it's rarely just about being friendly. It's about creating closeness. It's about expressing a feeling that words might not be able to capture yet. And more often than not, that feeling is unmistakable. He wants to be near you, and he's using the language of touch to say so. When a man is physically attracted to you, his body gives away signs that he likely doesn't even realize. Two of the most revealing: his pupils dilate, and he smiles more often when he's around you. These reactions are involuntary, deeply rooted in biology, and they speak volumes about what he's feeling, without him having to say a word. Let's start with his eyes. The eyes are often called the windows to the soul, and for good reason. They react instantly to stimuli, especially to someone we find attractive. When a man is physically drawn to you, his pupils tend to dilate. This dilation is caused by a rush of dopamine, the brain's feel-good chemical, which spikes when we experience pleasure, excitement, or desire. So, when he looks at you and his pupils widen, it's not just a coincidence. It's his body's natural response to someone he finds captivating. Pupil dilation isn't something you can fake. It's not something he can control or even always notice. But if you're paying attention, you might catch it in those quiet moments, when his gaze lingers on you just a second longer than necessary, when you lock eyes across a room and his expression softens, or when he listens to you speak with focused, almost hypnotic attention. His pupils subtly but unmistakably widen, as if his eyes are trying to take in more of you, absorb more of the moment. That's attraction in its purest, most subconscious form. And it's not just his pupils, it's the way he looks at you altogether. His eye contact becomes deeper, more consistent. He isn't just glancing at you, he's holding your gaze. He's looking at you as if you're the most interesting person in the room. You'll notice his focus intensifies. In a crowded place, he zeroes in on you. In conversation, he watches your lips, your expressions, the tiny shifts in your face as you speak. That level of attention is never casual. It's intimacy unfolding through the eyes. Then there's the smile. When a man is attracted to you, smiling becomes something he can't help but do. You might say something simple, and he lights up. You enter the room, and his face changes instantly. This kind of smile isn't forced. It's spontaneous, often a little sheepish or shy if he's trying not to show too much. Sometimes it breaks out before he even realizes it, and you'll catch him trying to suppress it or quickly shift his expression back to neutral. But the initial reaction is there, and it's genuine. There's a difference between a polite smile and one fueled by attraction. A polite smile is quick, often just with the lips, but a smile born from physical attraction reaches the eyes. It's softer, warmer, his cheeks may lift, the corners of his eyes may crinkle just slightly, and there's a kind of quiet joy in his expression that doesn't go away quickly. It lingers, because he enjoys being in your presence, and his body expresses that happiness without him even needing to speak. You might also notice how often he smiles around you compared to others. Maybe he's more serious or reserved in group settings, but when he's speaking with you, his entire demeanor lightens. His energy shifts. His smile becomes frequent, almost automatic. That contrast is important. It shows that you are the variable, the reason behind the change in his behavior. And when someone can't stop smiling around you, it's because being near you feels good, effortlessly. Sometimes that smile will appear in response to the smallest things. You brush your hair behind your ear, he smiles. You laugh at something he said, he grins wider. You catch him watching you, and instead of looking away, he smiles like he's been caught in the best way possible. These small moments might seem insignificant, but they're the building blocks of attraction. Smiles that appear without context are often the most telling. They're rooted in how you make him feel rather than what you did. There's also the element of nervous joy. That smile might come with a touch of fidgeting, with a laugh that's slightly too quick, or a look away that feels bashful. He may bite his lips slightly or laugh under his breath when there's no obvious joke. That's when the smile isn't just about happiness. It's a way of managing excitement. It's his body's way of saying, I like this. I like you. So, when his pupils dilate and his smile becomes a regular part of your interactions, understand what's really happening. These aren't rehearsed behaviors. They're not lines he planned in front of a mirror. They're honest, unfiltered responses to being near someone who pulls something deep from within him. Someone who sparks both physical desire and emotional joy. Someone who makes his eyes widen and his lips curve, all without even trying. That someone is you. Throughout this entire exploration, one truth stands clear. Physical attraction doesn't need grand declarations. It reveals itself in the smallest, most human ways. It shows up in the way he looks at you, how often he smiles, the touch that lingers, the way his body leans in when you speak, or how his voice shifts just because you're near. Whether it's the accidental brush of a hand, the unconscious mirroring of your movements, or the way he nervously fidgets, or suddenly glows with confidence, every sign points to one undeniable feeling. He's drawn to you. What makes these signs so powerful is their honesty. They bypass the polished, practiced version of him and show you something real, something raw. His body speaks before his words ever do. And if you listen closely, not just with your ears, but with your attention, you'll hear exactly what he's trying to tell you. you'll see that attraction is not just about what he says, but how he behaves when he thinks you're not looking, how his presence changes when you enter the room, and how he tries, consciously or not, to find ways to stay close. These subtle signs are not just gestures, they're invitations. Invitations into his world, into his attention, into the possibility of something deeper. And when a man is physically attracted to you, he won't always tell you with words. He'll show you, repeatedly, quietly, clearly. And when you know how to recognize the signs, you'll never again have to question how he feels. You'll already have the answer.